Hey everybody, welcome back. We haven't done one of these. I haven't done one of these in a fucking while because circumstances led beyond my control about shit. So, long story short, I might try, if this works out well and people enjoy watching it, I might try and slip a movie review in every now and again, along with the video games and Let's Plays and whatnot. So, today is a very surreptitious day. I flipped a coin and we decided to go see Venom.
What does surreptitious mean?
It means that I know a word you don't.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I'm sticking to.
That's the definition, right?
It is exactly it. It means it's a word I know that you don't. And I'm going to tell you what, it's smarter than the movie we saw, I'll tell you that.
Is it?
I just bullshitted better than they did.
Did you?
Yeah, I flipped a coin and it was either this or the new Halloween.
Do you think we got the better deal there?
I'm not sure. Like, I laughed more at this. So I had been hearing, this movie's a shit movie, this movie's a shit movie. You either fell on one of two spectrums. Either it was an okay, dumb action flick, or this movie was a flaming dumpster fire just shoved off a cliff and just rolling down towards the orphanage that happened to be storing some dynamite.
What if it was both of them?
I don't think you can.
A shitstorm of flaming dumpster garbage action awesomeness rolling down into an orphanage.
No. If it had done better special effects,
they had blue flames.
We had that in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Which one?
The first one.
The original first one?
Yes.
Or the new
Yes,
Michael
the
Bay
original first one.
So, blue flames for the first time in 30 years? No, 20 years. No, almost 30 years.
What the fuck are you talking about?
So, first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? Came out in 1992.
No, I'm not debating this. What the fuck are you talking about with the blue flame?
Blue flames have not been in a movie unless someone had magic fire powers since what you said of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which means they're doing something that hadn't been done in 30 years nearly.
That almost equals the same amount of logic leaps that people in this script had to get through in order to
let's
fuck this fucking movie. Jesus fucking Christ.
Let's go one step at a time with this.
Okay. So let's discuss some positive things.
No. You start with the beginning. Start with Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock is
Tom frickin' Hardy.
Tom Hardy is Eddie Brock.
Tom frickin' Hardy.
Tom frickin' Hardy is Eddie Brock as one of the most unlikable protagonists in a Marvel movie.
To be fair, this is Eddie Brock. He was never really built up to be that awesome of a dude.
Right?
But
that was because of his relation to Peter Parker / Spider-Man.
Maybe so.
Which is kind of a huge failing in this movie that it doesn't relate.
I don't
with
get
Spider-Man.
I don't get why that they have this as an isolated thing.
I don't either.
The weird thing is,
like, this is the hill Sony wants to die on, is Spider-Man.
I mean, this would be, no, there's no good for this.
No,
but the part that confused me was that they started with the Venom concept.
Yes,
which still looks cool.
Venom
looks like Venom.
They did a decent job. They used some of the more updated versions of Venom, where he's a little more
Venus.
No, he's always been pretty veiny across his run. No, where his arms are a lot longer and his legs are a little shorter, and he kind of looks like a gorilla sometimes when he runs. And he looks like that. So
either way,
yeah, Tom Hardy is. I'm gonna be nice about this. I like Tom Hardy a lot. Yeah. I think he's a good actor. I think Tom Hardy needs real things to play off of, like people and such. Because when he's interacting with people, like things he can physically see and interact with, he's fine. The scene where he's starting to kind of break down in front of his no longer girlfriend,
no longer fiance.
whatever.
Ex-fiance. More.
Yeah. When he's starting to break down in front of his ex-fiance, and he's like, I don't know what's wrong with me, and he kind of gets emotional about it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I believe that.
Are we talking about when he sits in the lobster tank?
No, this is actually just before the bad guy, this is just after one of the big bad guy fights.
When he fights the SWAT team?
Yes.
Yeah, no, that scene was awesome.
That scene was perfectly fine. Now,
I don't think
no. Here is my problem. Because there are other times, and I get this sensation because of what he was like during the filming of Mad Max Fury Road, and how he could not see this thing that Miller was creating. But he didn't have a lot of dialogue to say, so he didn't have a lot of words to fuck up. But in this movie, there comes a time when Venom sprouts out of his back, and then there's this giant floating abyss head that looks really shitty.
Does it?
It looks awful.
Really?
It somehow looks worse than the effect they ripped off from The Abyss, which was made...
I've seen The Abyss a long
30
time
years
ago.
before this movie, I think?
It definitely does not look worse than The Abyss.
I 100% guarantee you it does.
It does not.
Anyway.
It absolutely does not. Because
anyway.
The Abyss was supposed to be like a chromatic liquid.
Anyway, The Abyss was water. Venom kind of around him,
right,
and presents itself in front of him, and he's like, "What are you? Are you going to kill more people? Are you going to break my legs and then not break my legs again?"
It definitely wasn't as bad as that. Although that line,
it's not that's the movie's biggest failing, which is
recreate that
it's the
line.
writing. Okay,
recreate that line. And
okay,
for me. For okay,
there's a wonderful scene.
There's no saving that
I laugh my ass off at this movie. This one in particular, I really laughed hard though. There's this wonderful scene where Eddie Brock, Venom, has just gotten done with their cool motorbike chase that they show about 3/4 of in the trailer.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
I never saw any of the trailers. So.
They show almost all of it off in the trailer. So, like, zero amount of it is interesting or fun because you've seen it already. And he gets thrown off a bike and gets his legs snapped and busted along with the rest of him mangled up as he gets thrown through a pavilion. It's a bike wreck. It's supposed to look nasty. It looks actually kind of decent as far as bike wrecks are concerned. Like, motorcycle crashes will really fuck you up.
Yeah.
Especially if all you're wearing is jeans, tennis shoes, and a hoodie.
It has to be PG-13.
No, it didn't have to be PG-13. It was an R.
It was an R, but it was presented as PG-13, so they had to restrict it to a point.
Well, it was chopped up, and we'll get into that after all this.
Either way, bike wreck.
Broken legs.
Broken fingers.
Venom symbiote decides, well, now I have the time to come forward and be Venom. And so he goops all over him and he restructures his legs.
That sounds dirty.
Right? He goops all over him and he restructures his legs and he comes together and hang on just a second. Sorry, we had a bit of a thing we had to take care of. What were we were setting up for the broken legs scene.
Yes, you were saying Tom Hardy's
Tom Hardy, Venom comes out and goops all over Tom Hardy, fixes his legs, and proceeds to violently and bloodlessly kill something to the tune of like 20 SWAT officers.
No. He only killed one guy.
He only killed one?
Yeah,
I think we can reasonably assume that the people who got thrown 30 feet in the air and then landed on a concrete floor
they're fine.
Probably did not survive that.
Totally fine.
Totally fine, those guys.
Body armor and helmets.
Okay, it was shock-absorbing body armor. Yeah, there we go. So, Tom Hardy, Venom brutally murders 20 armed guards trying to subdue him, and then bites the head off of another person.
No, he only bites the head off the one guy.
He bit somebody's head off.
He bit one guy's head off.
And then proceeds to dive out of a window and swim in San Francisco Bay.
I don't remember if he dove out of the window, but he definitely dove into the water.
He dove into the water, swam across, and jumps out onto, I'm guessing, one of the pylons for the Golden Gate Bridge.
I would assume, yeah.
That's my
Somewhere
best
with a
bet.
concrete base.
That's my best bet. And as he does so, he ungoops from Tom Hardy, who then lands and goes, "Oh, my legs were broken. Now my legs aren't broken anymore." And I'm just like,
yeah, that moment was.
did no one proofread? And that's it's a sign that your writing, it doesn't have faith in the fact that A, your audience is going to see and understand what just happened, and doesn't have faith that the visuals are going to interpret that for the audience.
I will offer this defense.
Oh, please. I'm so intrigued about the defense of Venom. Oh, my legs were broken. Now my leg's not broken no more.
I wish that it wasn't actually read as bad as that, but Tom Hardy, bless your heart, it was not the best line deliverance I've ever seen.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But,
the writing in this movie is fucking awful.
The character he plays is not meant to be super smart. Like, he's an intelligent person in different ways.
Hold on.
But
no, I reject that theory. I reject that theory because you do not become a good investigative journalist without having a square head on your shoulders, which is a bit of a problem for this character.
I get that part of it. What I'm saying is, I offered the wrong thing. Not that he's not that smart, that he externalizes the things. Like that was a running thing.
That's not Tom Hardy. That is the problem of that is the problem of the writing and the direction.
Hold up.
Okay,
the character Eddie Brock throughout the entire film externalizes the things that he's experiencing.
Yes, this man
he
has an external monologue that would almost rival Wolverine's internal monologue in this movie. I'm not exaggerating.
Kind of. I mean, I don't know what kind of internal monologue Wolverine has in the movies. Like usually,
no, I'm talking in the comics.
In the comics, of course, yeah.
No, I'm talking about in the comics. This character's external monologues rival some of the worst Wolverine internal monologues, where he's just sitting there, "I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do isn't very pretty. What am I doing, you might ask? Well, let me tell you."
It wasn't that bad.
It's nearly that bad.
That line was awful. That was an awful line.
A lot of these lines are awful.
I will offer this. So the scene where he meets them at the restaurant after he's gotten the pictures of the thing, and he's having the freak out moment because the venom is like affecting him for whatever reason. He's interacting with at least 5 different actors and actresses in that scene. Yeah, like he's got the 2 people that are relatively prominent that's sitting at the table. He's got the maitre d', the security guy, like 2 and 3 extra people that are passing by, 2 other people sitting at the table there, and this is all being directed by the guy that's running the show here behind the camera. So to Tom Hardy's credit, I think that he carried the Eddie Brock character exactly where it needed to go.
I think he did a...
I think you're right. The writers, I did not have faith in the visuals.
I will say Tom Hardy is somebody who acts well alongside things he can see.
Yes.
Things he cannot see, he is awful with. And there's no shame in that. There's a lot of actors who aren't good with that. God, what's her name? The new Tomb Raider girl, Alicia Vikander.
I'm glad you knew that, because I was going to be at a loss.
Yeah. She, I feel, is another one of those who acts well alongside real things, but not well alongside other things. You can go and watch the previous review I did with Jared back in the day about the new Tomb Raider movie for that description.
Has she been in anything else other than the new Tomb Raider?
I don't know. I didn't really want to see anything else.
Well, that's just mean.
Maybe, but whatever. Anyway,
point is, Tom Hardy's still awesome.
Tom Hardy, I love Tom Hardy. I think he's a very good actor. He did not have good writing, which I don't think anybody could have made good.
I'm sure somebody could have made it good.
No,
I don't think that the team that was on hand, they wrote what they could. Between that and the directing, I don't think it was delivered well.
I would say between the directing, the writing, and the studio mandates that I'm pretty sure were coming in almost daily for this movie, I would say you're probably correct.
There was definitely a lot of disjointedness. It got the Suicide Squad treatment.
I think it really did. Except Suicide Squad was a shit show from the word go. Okay, so let's start from the top then. Now that we've gotten some of the more egregious things out of the way, like the occasional through most of the movie horrible acting, the ass ugly CGI.
The CGI wasn't bad.
That CGI was awful.
It was absolutely... Well, so most of the CGI with the creatures was not bad. However, there's a scene. So you have 3 scenes for this, right?
Okay.
You have the first scene, which is Tom Hardy at his now shitty apartment.
Yeah.
With
that is not a shitty apartment. That is a fucking awesome apartment for having when you were an out-of-work journalist.
He probably had some money backing up for a while, and that's why he was able to get
I don't know how.
My point is...
Okay, yes.
We're off topic. My point is, he's in a little shitty apartment compared to what he was living in. It was still pretty shitty. He's in this... He's got a guy across from him that's this heavy metal rocker guy who is like stereotypical, non-considerate, plays his music stupid loud. He gets mad at... he's getting mad at it, but he doesn't confront it at the time. Then he gets the Venom symbiote, and... because of the frequency of it, it's causing it to be worse for him than normal. Yeah. Runs over and says, "Hey man, just turn the music down, please." And he's like, "No, fair enough." And then he goes and does the grr face. And for this scene, they have the Venom eyes crappily pop up and Venom teeth. Not like the full face. It's just Tom Hardy's face with Venom eyes and Venom teeth, like ah. And it
could you do that again?
Ah. It looks like that. It does. It looks like that!
No, I'm just picturing that scene with him going, "Arr, I'm Venom."
I would be happier if they did shoot it like that.
Turn the music down. Arr.
And maybe very, low-key Tom Hardy's like, "This is awful. You get exactly 50% of me."
No, he was 100% on board for this movie.
Really?
Yeah, according to him, there's 40 minutes worth of shit that got cut out of this movie that was his favorite stuff. And from what I'm seeing, it was probably the super violent stuff that actually made the movie fun.
I kind of want to see the director's cut on this now.
I don't.
And
I'm done with director's cuts.
No. You gotta do director's cuts.
No.
Yep.
No, I don't. No.
Yep.
No,
yep.
I don't. Shitty movies should not have director's cuts that I now have to buy to understand the movie.
Unless they were not shitty movies, but then were made shitty movies by executive interference.
Then it's a shitty movie.
No.
We will have this discussion later.
You're still gonna be wrong.
Anyway,
the point is, it was really bad CGI for that scene, and it legit looked like some Halloween paint crap.
Look worse than that. Okay, so from the top, we meet Eddie Brock. No, from the top, we see a spaceship crashing into Earth that has the symbiotes.
4 of them?
Was it 4?
Yeah, because it was blue, yellow, red, and then black. Because red is Carnage, blue is...
no, because they only show the yellow and the blue one.
They only show the yellow, the blue, and the black one.
Yeah.
Because one of them was already absorbed by someone.
And that was Riot.
That's when it became Riot.
Yeah.
Carnage is red, yellow...
Yeah, but Carnage isn't in this movie.
He's not, but you just got set up with Cletus Cassidy.
So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But Red is never seen.
Red is never seen, but it's assumed, because I was going to get there.
Because I know you have to assume because there is nowhere else for it to come from.
There's at least red, yellow, and blue, which were there but never given character, and I think they die off.
Yeah.
And then black is, of course, Venom.
Yes. Well, there's 2 blues. There's a darker blue, and then there's like a muted pastel blue.
Did you really say the word muted pastel blue?
That's what it is.
Moving on.
Give me a better color.
Metallic blue?
No.
Huh?
No, it's not metallic.
Are we talking about the Riot color guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, metallic blue.
No. That's like...
It definitely wasn't pastel.
That's
pastel are bright colors.
Yeah, that's why I said muted.
Then it's not pastel. If it's not bright, it's not pastel.
Yeah, that's the point. It's a juxtaposition. It should look really cool, but it looks really shitty.
It's not juxtaposition. It's an oxy-fucking-moron.
Okay, fine. It's an oxymoron.
I apologize. I'm knife-handing. Just ignore it. You're an oxymoron. You're an ox and a moron.
Anyway, so that should have been thrown... Oh, man, Tim Curry would have been amazing in this movie.
I kind of want to see Tim Curry do a voiceover on this.
I want to see Tim Curry in every movie.
Tim Curry as Carnage.
That would be a movie. That would be a movie in and of itself. I would watch that. Anyway,
I miss him.
We meet Eddie Brock, investigative YouTube journalist.
No, he is syndicated.
No. He's not a writer.
YouTube thing.
He's not a writer.
He's not. Yes, he is.
No, he's not. He has a camera crew that he works with, and his show was picked up by this network thing. And apparently, once he's laid off, that means he can't do the show no more.
He had a segment that he did with the news station that he worked
Yes,
with.
which
It wasn't a YouTube thing. He was an investigative journalist, but he wasn't like an independent thing that was being contracted out. Like, he was hired by that business. That's why he was able to be fired by the guy.
Well,
was he ever given a name? This sounds bad, but I really don't remember him getting a name.
I don't remember.
I remember his kick-ass beard.
Gotta pause. What were we talking about?
You were saying that I was right on everything. That
no, we were arguing about.
Let me finish my moment.
No, I'm not, because you're 100% wrong there. We were arguing about Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock having this journalistic report that he does called The Brock Show?
I don't think it was that.
The Brock Attack?
No. I mean, Brock O'Clock would have worked.
Brock O'Clock work. Okay, that's what we're going to call it.
It definitely wasn't what it was called.
It was not, but it's way better than whatever it was called. So Eddie Brock hosts the Brock O'Clock and gets this chance to interview Riz Ahmed.
Wait, you remembered his name?
I remember the actor's name.
Oh, the actor.
That is the actor's name. I don't remember the guy in the movie's name.
What else has he been in? Because he looks familiar.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I thought he might have been the guy that played the dude from Deadpool.
I don't know. He is evil McBadman CEO level.
Yeah.
And he one-dimensional doesn't even begin to describe how wonderfully transparent. I wish my windows were as transparent as he is transparently evil in this movie.
I enjoyed it. It was bad, but it was a good kind of bad. It was like watching Die Hard level of bad.
No, because Hans Gruber is out and out a bad guy, but this guy's trying to convince the public that he's a good guy.
He believes everything he's saying. And that I appreciate that in a bad guy. Like, he believes, like, I am doing good. This is, he's got these big pontifications on, like, do this for the good of this. Oh, your name is Isaac. Isaac's the name from the Bible. Isaac sacrificed so much. I was like, you're a good bad guy. I like this about you. It's still campy. It's got so much cheese on it, it might as well be an Italian dish. But.
Okay.
Minestrone, provolone, Gouda.
Go
Italian. Go to Olive Garden.
Let's not go too far in insulting the Italians there.
Well,
no, I just normally associate the French with cheese.
Really?
Traditionally, the French have
like block cheese. I'm talking like these big cheesy pasta dishes.
Okay, on dishes, then yes, yeah. I'll grant you the Italians.
We're off topic again. The point is,
this guy is super cheesy and hammy, and
it's wonderful.
It's super wonderful. It's a joy to laugh at this.
He loved his role. He really did.
Like, going back to Tim Curry, like, if he had been chewing the scenery more, I think I would have enjoyed it. I would have enjoyed it more if he was just completely and totally unhinged, just going, like Eddie Redmayne levels of insanity from Jupiter Ascending.
Oh my god.
if we had that.
Wait, you've seen Jupiter Ascending?
I've never been able to sit through the entire thing.
There's no shame in that.
I don't think there is either. But like if he had been like those levels of overacting combined with this horribly transparent evil guy, I would have enjoyed him a lot more.
That's fair.
As it is, he's just kind of bland and
he's definitely It wasn't bland, but
he was very forgettable.
No, not really.
What's his name?
Richie McRich guy.
There we go. So
he was not a forgettable character, but he didn't take it. He wasn't able to take it as far as I think would have been good for it.
If they had let him completely off the leash or told him to really ham it up, I think it would have worked to the movie's benefit a lot. Going back to the previous statement, though, when we were going through the story, for whatever reason, the broadcast company I'm going to say that. I'm guessing this is like a Vice News style media corporation that has a very big online presence.
You talk about who
Eddie Brock works for.
Yeah.
The company Brock works for. They picked up his show, and they say, Eddie Brock, you hard-hitting investigative journalist who likes to go in and push people's buttons and ask questions nobody likes to have asked. I want you to go do a puff piece about this person you've been trying to take down for an untold amount of years.
I don't know that it was because he'd been trying to take him down. I think it's just he'd
been trying to find dirt on him.
Yeah.
He'd been trying to find dirt on this guy.
I have nothing for.
And it's like, you, this person who dedicates his life to getting under people's skin and asking questions that they don't want, you are the one who's going to go and interview this man and do this wonderful piece about his rockets that fell to Earth and may have killed several people and potentially brought back pathogens from outer space, but we don't know about that.
Yeah.
And it's like, really?
That part, I don't...
You don't have anybody else in this whole company that can go... You don't have, like, an intern who's really, really trying to move up in the ranks, and you're like, hey, look, go do this interview, we'll give you the questions, just ask about the rocket, smile, tell them have a nice day. We'll tack on 20 hours to your college that you're trying to intern for us with. And so
I got nothing for that, man.
And so he drops the name of one of the pilots, one of the astronauts who died in the crash that he shouldn't have known about and only did because his fiance got an email at 3 a.m. with super confidential information. Because people do that.
I can't tell you how much was wrong with that scene.
Oh no, believe me, I know how much is wrong with that scene. The answer is all of it.
You don't know how much is wrong with that scene.
The answer is all of it.
So much of it.
Yeah. So he gets this information about this super confidential thing that said, all these people are dead and we're trying to keep the families from not suing to claim the life insurance or some bullshit. I stopped reading after a bit.
It was a suit of wrongful death.
That's what it was. It was wrongful death suit.
But the thing of it was on her laptop, which he knew the password to.
Yep.
She's an attorney.
Yep.
She receives this email at 3 a.m.
Yep.
Or some such, late. And the information there within and the email are not password protected.
No. Well, most people's email isn't immediately password protected. Usually when you... Like, I don't have to log into my email every single time.
You are working with legal systems and stuff?
Oh, no. I agree with that. I'm just saying...
There was a lot wrong with that thing.
Oh, no. There was 100% a lot of shit wrong with that. But he starts asking questions about this person he shouldn't have known about. He refused to give up her as his source, but she didn't want him to use her as a source. She didn't want him to know anything about this, honestly.
He shouldn't have. It's a legal business. So
yes.
Therefore...
No, they are 100% within their rights to sue him into oblivion.
Which, I don't know if they did, but they got him fired. They got her fired.
They got him fired. They got her fired. She breaks up with him on the spot, which rightly so for her, because this man with a highly destructive personality is not a good option.
I had some issue with that, not because... you shouldn't have broke up, but it's like, you're getting engaged. Yes. I feel like it should have taken at least 2 more scenes of setup to get to that point.
Or had a bit of dialogue where she exposits a little, because this movie isn't afraid of expositing.
Expositing.
Yes. Where she exposits that, Eddie, I know we've had our ups and downs, but I'm glad you're promising...
Say that one more time for me.
Expositing.
Yep, that hurts every time. Go ahead.
It's a real word, man.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am.
Are you sure you're sure?
Yes, I am sure I am sure. Expositing is the act of expelling exposition.
I'm looking this up afterwards, but go ahead.
Knock yourself out. There should have been a scene expositing how there had been some trouble in their relationship before now, how he had gotten into trouble and she didn't like him doing that, and he had been on a really good course to correct himself.
Yeah,
something to say, yes, you have done bad things in the past, Eddie Brock, but you're doing all right, but if you fuck up one more time, I'm going to dump your ass.
Right.
And so they break up right there on the street.
We really didn't get anything
No,
at all.
You don't know anything about Eddie Brock. You know he left New York and he went to San Francisco.
Oh God, we really don't.
You know nothing.
Wow.
You don't know why he was kicked out of his last job.
I mean, you can assume because it's tied in with the same thing that's going on with his last one. So he pushed too far in the wrong direction and someone ran him out.
I guess. I don't know. Why couldn't we see that?
The point is, though, the girlfriend the wife,
fiance
dumps him. And then it's 6 months later?
Oh, not even that. It's 2.
No, it's got to be more than that.
No, it was not. It was not 6 months later. It was an extraordinarily short amount of time, shorter than it should have been.
Because when you come back to her, she has a boyfriend who has a key to her house.
Yes.
I don't speak women. Like, I'm not going to vouch for what they would do, but I think if I were someone who got out of being engaged to somebody, I wouldn't give someone the key to my house. Let alone start dating in 2 months.
No, because that is actually a very good question, because even he asked this, and she's like, yeah, we're going to ignore that.
That's actually true.
That is 100% the scene. He looks there and says, so he's got a key to your house that I used to live in.
It's like, why does he have a key to your house? So he can get in. Oh, okay. Yeah, super awkward.
And that's all the scene.
See, that was where you really had a problem with his interaction with people, but I thought that it actually created the character. Like, he's up.
If the character is bumbling shithead that doesn't understand how to interact with people,
it wasn't bumbling shithead.
Perfectly fine.
He interacts with a lot of other people without any issues. It's the fact, like, she is his ex. I got at least more of a sense that there was some emotional distraughtness that was throwing his personality and game off.
Okay, I'll work with that.
It's like, we've been there. It's like, there's this girl that you're missing or you want to be around. It's like, you want to be cool, you want to be okay. It's like, no, you're fucked up. You're going to be an idiot.
The problem is that's not conveyed well.
It's not.
Across both parties. Because these two people share no chemistry whatsoever.
Who played his ex-fiancée?
I don't know.
And what was her name?
I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you anybody else's name if you put a gun to my head outside of Eddie Brock and Mrs. Chen. And the only reason I remember Mrs. Chen is because that is the most generic fucking Chinese woman name you could possibly give somebody.
The actress that played her, though, looks familiar.
Sort of?
I'm pretty sure she has been in something else.
Oh,
as
I'm
a
sure.
Side character.
I'm sure.
With the same level of sass.
I'm sure, probably. But
I'm
apparently,
gonna look this up though. I'm curious who the female.
Yeah, sure. Is. Check up expositing as well.
I apologize. This might be like an internet faux pas or something.
It is, but that's okay. You're not going to be around long enough to catch shit about it.
You're gonna kill me now.
So Eddie Brock, you see him in his shitty San Francisco apartment, which is. It's nicer than any apartment I've seen here, and I'm talking about the more upscale apartments here. Now,
Anne Weying was the role.
Okay.
She is played by a Michelle Williams.
Okay, yeah.
So let me look that up.
Anyway, he has this really fucking nice apartment in San Francisco.
It's not a really fucking nice apartment. It is an apartment. It's not a shitty apartment because those get way worse, but it is an apartment.
It is an apartment that does not have drug dealers nesting a floor below you, beating his whore up in San Francisco.
Huh.
And, like, if this were Taxi Driver is a really great example. That is a shitty apartment.
The one with Queen
Robert De Niro.
Oh, the show Taxi Driver.
No, the movie with Robert De Niro.
I'm thinking of Taxi.
Yes, you are.
I have to see Taxi Driver now. And Michelle Williams has been in a number of different movies.
Yes, she has.
Greatest Showman.
Yep.
Dawson's Creek, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Brokeback Mountain. All the Money in the World. Oz the Great and Powerful. So
yes,
the only one I've seen that is any relevance to me is Shutter Island.
Okay.
That was good.
Okay. So
I apologize.
We see him go, and this is a bad part of town.
It's the low end of town.
They're trying to insinuate it's a bad part of town because there's this low-level thug that's running protection.
Oh, yeah.
And he comes in and he's like, I'll take the bottle of whiskey and the change.
No, I'll get a bottle of whiskey and don't forget my change. And he pulls out a gun. Has to hold it sideways.
Has to hold it sideways.
Which, I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
Boy, is this the 90s all over again.
It felt like a 90s movie is what it is.
That's not a good thing.
It's an awesome thing if you love 90s movies.
Not
only thing stopping
it's not a good 90s movie, though.
That's the best part about every 90s movie. They're not good. Even the good ones are not good.
Anyway, he goes in there and gets some Pepto-Bismol, and he asks Mrs. Chen, is like, Mrs. Chen, why you let the bad man come in and rob your store like that? And she's like,
he didn't ask him that.
Yeah, the world's shit, Eddie.
He didn't ask her that.
No, I mean,
he just walks up, puts stuff on the counter.
I will say that was actually something that really took me by surprise, because that was something I was 100% expecting, was him to try and say, why you let him do that? What
It's like, because I'm 80 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah, and he doesn't say anything. He just pays for his stuff, is very polite, and I'm like, that's actually a really good scene.
It was.
It's an understanding of the character
character.
It does. It says a lot without saying anything, which I wish I could say for the rest of this movie.
I'll give it one
because
more
it's
thing.
like the only subtle piece in this movie.
I'll give it one more thing though.
What is that?
The scene right before he goes in there, when he's talking with the little homeless lady, who has all the little newspapers.
That woman was not homeless.
Huh?
That woman was not homeless.
She wasn't. It was the gentle homelessness for the film's sake.
That is movie homeless.
It's movie homeless.
That is movie homeless.
The point is, she was playing the homeless woman. Angie or something like that.
I don't fucking know. Again, I don't remember anybody's name.
He interacted with her, like he knew her name, he interacted with her, she's like, oh, $5. Like, well, $5, that's a bit steep, but he ends up giving her 20.
Right.
You know, treats her like a person, then goes in, then when she's missing, he recognizes that. Finds her later on in the movie and tries to save her. And it's like, that is not something that's directly a thing, like, oh, this is building his character, you know, like he's this kind person. It's like, no, it's just, this is how he interacts with people around him.
It's a nice, it's an unspoken thing that says a lot about him as a person. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying about that. I'll 100% give the movie that. That was a legitimately good scene. Not her getting held up, because that looks horrible and fake and terrible. But the scene after that, where he doesn't say anything, he just pays for his stuff and is like, I'm real sorry that happened to you. And he acts like a human being.
And then
he
tries to do the meditation shit.
And then he tries to do meditation shit. And you get stereotypical rocker boy across the hall going,
so the guy himself wasn't that stereotypical. He had longer hair, he had a leather jacket, that was about it. It wasn't like spikes and a Grateful Dead t-shirt and collar and makeup. No, it was just like, I have a leather jacket and I play guitar.
Shitty guitar, but...
It wasn't that shitty.
Then we proceed to almost Catwoman scene.
Which...
Like, it's not as bad as Halle Berry's Catwoman, where she's in the building across the street from the party that's really, really loud. She's like, he walks up to the door and he's like, I really don't want to be an asshole right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I appreciated that face. Like, he was like,
that's a strenuous face that he's like,
Tom Hardy went somewhere in his life where he was just done.
Yeah.
And he used that for that scene.
I have a feeling it was the making of this movie. But we get that, and then we get one of the scientists growing a conscience after one of the homeless people that Riz Ahmed has pulled off the street feeds to the simian, and then he just goes, all right, next.
No, she had a conscience before then, because they did the
that's right, because he threatened her children. This wonderfully complex villain
vaguely asked
makes
how
this
her family
hideously unveiled threat. It's like, how are your kids?
It was veiled.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. By proxy, by
this movie's standards, it was veiled.
What's the word I'm looking for here?
I don't know.
By virtue of the fact that he didn't say, I will murder your children if you don't do this. It's a veiled threat.
It's veiled in the most sheer fabric imaginable.
That's fair.
But like strippers are telling this veil is like, maybe you need to hide a little bit.
That's bad.
It is. And so he makes this horribly unveiled, veiled threat about him using her children as experiments, I'm guessing.
I don't think so.
And I think that's the implication. He's like, how are your kids? Let's go put this alien in a homeless person now, and it might not kill him.
Yeah.
And so they watch this alien kill a homeless man, who, again, movie homeless, because he looks way too fucking good to actually be homeless.
I'll say, when he walks in, I was like, you could probably get a job at a model agency somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah. But yeah, it turns out that he's been feeding homeless people to these things to try and keep them alive, to try and survive in our atmosphere.
He has not been feeding homeless people to the symbiotes to try and keep them alive. He's been feeding homeless people. He hasn't been feeding homeless people to them. He's been trying to create the symbiosis.
Yes.
Which, for some reason, was not working.
Yeah, it's never explained why it's not working.
But then it does.
Yeah, nope, never explained why. But they go through and they finally do human testing after it works with a rabbit, which I'm interested to know how they got the rabbit unsymbioted.
I don't think they did.
No, they couldn't have. But then you see that exact same symbiote that went into the rabbit go into the homeless guy.
Could be. Oh, wait. They actually did cover that. Because over time the symbiote was digesting the body.
Yeah, but you don't find that out until after I'm going to say 3 more homeless people are dead.
That's a good guess. We had one at least.
Like, in movie time, there's about 20 minutes before we figure that out. And so, it's like, how do we not know this?
There was a lot of non-sciencey science stuff going on.
Yes, there was.
I enjoyed
all
it.
throughout the movie, there's this other symbiote that's been leaping from person to person, making its way
from the wreck.
I don't know how it knew to get to San Francisco.
If I remember correctly, the
Okay.
first person that it hops into was the pilot, like one of the astronauts.
Yes.
And he killed people in the ambulance in Malaysia.
I believe that's supposed to be J. Jonah Jameson's son, actually.
J. Jonah Jameson's son's dead?
In this universe, I think he is, because Jameson's son is an astronaut in Spider-Man.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Cool.
He actually becomes Space Wolf?
Wow.
Man? Yeah, he gets this crystal that magically turns him into a Space Wolf Man.
So much I want to say there. But for now, we're going to focus.
Comics are weird, man.
So, astronaut guy has has Riot, I think is what it was.
Yes.
And he is hopping from person to person
mm-hmm.
because when he left the astronaut's body, he tore off part of the uniform, which had the company logo.
Okay.
So then, internets and peoples and phones and shit eventually would have found his way.
No, because he got out of this astronaut guy and he got into the ambulance driver.
No, it wasn't the ambulance driver. It was the female
paramedic, whatever.
Who then gets into the old lady, who then gets into the little kid at the airport.
Yeah.
So it's like he knew where he was going.
Yeah, but I want to know why.
Because he was on the spaceship the whole time.
But how did he know to get to San Francisco?
Because if you remember when Venom was in Andy Brock,
mm-hmm.
he knew stuff that he knew because he was bounced around in his head, so to speak. Same thing with the astronaut. So he would have known, okay, this is where this location is at for this business that I work for. Bleh. And then he died.
I'm going to take your word on that because
that's my offer.
I have no other explanation for it.
That's the explanation.
Anyway, moving forward from that, we have... basically nothing happens in between then and...
Well, so he goes to the restaurant after we're skipping steps. So scientist lady gets conscious.
Scientist lady gets conscious, brings Eddie Brock in, he investigates, finds his homeless friend.
Well, he was fed up for a bit there for some reason. And I don't know why. I think that was a cutscene.
Probably. It probably has something to do with how he feels the world is shitty and broken because he got fired because he did the thing that his boss told him not to do.
Among other things.
And looked in his girlfriend's super private folder that wasn't secured at all. And may have actually committed a horrible breach of security in the legal system.
Horrible? Yeah, definitely a breach, but maybe not horrible.
And now he's living in a slightly not upscale apartment.
It was more than slightly not upscale.
It wasn't that much slightly upscale.
The point is, he's fed up, but then he's not fed up after a while.
Yeah.
Works with her, gets in.
Yeah. He decides, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I guess I'll do this.
It was actually kind of that bad.
And he goes and investigates.
The part that I was confused on is the security guard's coming around, and she's like, oh, here, get in the room. and then she's walking with him out when they both could have gotten in there without being seen. Like, in the amount of time that she addressed him.
Right.
So he gets in there, finds his homeless friend, tries to break her out, which did not know that scientifically reinforced glass for a symbiote that they don't know what the capacity is when it's in a host body is done enough to break with a fire extinguisher off.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's like scientific protocol number 8. It's in the scientist. Yeah. It's in the scientist handbook. When you have symbiote induced people for studying, make sure that the glass is just strong enough so that they can't break out, but somebody with a fire extinguisher from the outside can get in.
I guess
It's an in case of emergency thing.
But she is wigged out from the thing.
Yep.
Attacks him.
Yep.
Gives him the symbiote.
Yep.
He escapes with symbiote powers and seems to kind of half roll with it. I did appreciate the part where he goes to jump up onto the fence and climb out, and he goes through it. Yeah. And it's completely off balance from it.
We could have used a little more time with him learning about this thing,
or stumbling through it.
Yeah,
like he just when he runs through the door, it's like it's almost natural. And he was planning on it. His weight from the way he knocks that door off, he should have been going through it and almost fall on his face from being off balance.
Yes, you know? But instead he just walks up and goes, poof! Oh, the door's no longer in my way. Guess I'll keep running now.
Fortunately, there was no lines like that, but.
I guess I can jump up on walls and take down a security guard.
The chase sequence for that got like cranked up to 11 really quickly because from the time that he gets outside of this compound,
there's a ton of jump cuts with like ATVs and shit running all over the
there's
woods.
ATVs going on ramps. There's people already on foot out there.
Yeah,
which I find really hard to believe.
You don't think that this company has a security force they can mobilize like that?
I know for a fact they don't.
Is it because you only see like 12 people in this facility at any given time?
Yes, maybe.
Anyway,
the point is, he gets back to his apartment.
Yeah.
He's drinking beers, calling the doctor, drinking water. Then he
the doctor is his ex-fiance's new boyfriend that lives with her.
No. The doctor, the person from the thing. Like,
yes.
I got good pictures. Good job. Get in contact with me. Which one? I would be very worrisome about that in the 21st century, where it's easy enough to take someone's phone when you think that they're doing stuff and like, oh, this number called you. This is Eddie Brock. I was having problems with him. Well, I guess we know who the guy was in here now.
Yeah, and they play this whole thing like they don't understand. Like the scientific genius man who's trying to propel the world forward doesn't understand how to take one of his employees' phones.
Even beyond that, if he's having these waivers put in place so that homeless people are volunteering for these horrible experiments, he's probably got some NDAs and other shit for his employees that literally say, give me your phone if I ask.
Probably. There's enough legalities wrong in this. There's enough legalities wrong that this movie doesn't understand how the legal system works. There's probably something like that written into there.
The point is, and then he goes back to his apartment.
Yes.
Eats frozen tater tots.
Yep.
Which
pukes in the toilet.
Movie world. Stop having people pour bags of multiple things in their mouth. It doesn't work.
It does when you jump cut between the bags.
No, it doesn't. You're still pouring half the fucking tater tots onto the little island.
Yeah.
Oh god, his apartment had an island.
Yeah.
That wasn't a bad apartment.
It was not a bad apartment.
So he does that. He eats chicken out of the trash bag, which I assume was part of the fervor of it. Throws up in the toilet, I guess. Which, cool job on slowly introducing Venom. Like, they had, like, one voice here 3 times, and then it was, like, really pushing him, doing crazy crap while he's at the restaurant. And then he finally comes out and actually talks with him. I thought that was nice. At least that they slowly built him into it. But that's where it goes. Like, he's getting crazy. He calls up his girlfriend, goes to the restaurant.
Yeah.
Well,
and they meet up and
we call him his ex-fiance.
Yeah, his ex-fiance. He goes up there and he meets her and her new boyfriend.
I love that scene. It's so crazy, over the top, but it's not in like this, oh, well, this guy's just making an idiot of himself for no reason sort of way like a lot of humor shows do nowadays. I've never liked that. I
would love to have Eddie's waterproof phone that survives a lobster tank.
No, he left that on the table.
Did he?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because he tried to show it to him and then was grabbing the lobster. He turned into Arthur from that episode of The Tick where he got the muscle belt.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks good. Give me some of that.
Yeah, pretty much.
That whole scene was just... That was
man, if you want something that portrays a better version of what this guy is trying to do, then yeah, watch The Tick.
He was fucking chewing the scenery in that, and it was amazing.
It's a lot of fun there.
We needed that level of over the top for the bad guy.
Yes.
Tom Hardy fucking sold that.
Yes, 100% did.
Then they did the MRI, which I am not Dr. Man, Adam. That's this is how unqualified I am.
Is that your persona whenever you go into the hospital? Yes, I am Dr. Man.
I'm Dr. Man Adam.
Dr. Man Adam?
That's how unqualified I am.
Okay.
But I don't think
you're about as qualified for doctor as a scientist man is for science.
Exactly.
Okay.
The point is, I don't think that MRIs emit frequencies. I think that they're magnetic resonance interface or something else
imagery.
That starts with I think
imagery.
Yeah, magnetic resonance imagery.
Mm-hmm.
None of which has anything to do with frequencies.
Sound frequencies.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, please leave a comment down below.
This is needed.
Yeah.
Because it's frequencies and fire that are his weaknesses, which then decides to spout out for some reason.
Well, because otherwise, how would people know that his weaknesses were sound and fire?
This movie's a lot less subtle than I thought it was. I didn't even think about that at the time. I knew I was like, this is a bad idea. If you're inhabiting his body and you're telling them how to kill you, I'm no strategist.
Well, you don't understand. It's because back on his planet, he is a bit of a loser as well.
There was so much that they tried to do with Venom in so few scenes. I appreciated what they tried to do with him because they did character development for Venom separately from Eddie Brock, and that's cool, and I appreciate that. They did not, however, do it correctly.
No. Nothing in this movie was done correctly.
Some things were done correctly, just not
where they needed to be. Yes, nothing was done correctly where it was needed to be done correctly.
But it was so much fun to watch. I enjoyed it.
This movie, I don't regret going to see this movie.
No,
it's so bad. It's fun.
It's not even bad.
Yes,
it's just so. So there. Here's the road that you should go with a movie, right? You go
right.
You have point A, you have point B, and you have the stuff that happens in line with all that. You have your characters. The characters will weave in, but the story is linear. This was just like whoosh, like it's fucking West Mountain.
Oh no, it's not even West Mountain's a road around here. This story went. It
was amazing. I enjoyed every minute of it, though. It was
it's a fun ride.
The top.
It's a fun ride. Don't get me wrong. This movie is garbage.
It's not, though.
It's
just so strange.
There is nothing wrong with saying something's garbage. I love garbage movies.
But it's not a garbage movie.
It is a garbage movie.
No, like the stuff that your Red Letter Media guys, awesome show, by the way.
Yeah.
The stuff that they watch are garbage movies for the most part.
Well, that's because...
This was not.
That's because they usually watch low-budget garbage movies. This is a high-budget garbage movie. And there is a difference, because the garbage is going to look a little more polished.
Fuck, I can't argue with you on that.
There you go. So, after that, we learn about the symbiote and Venom, while the symbiote isn't calling Eddie a loser, and telling him...
He only does it twice.
And telling him his weaknesses in convenient list format.
Which, who played Venom?
I think it was Tom Hardy through some kind of a vocoder or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that would make sense, because when his ex-fiancée wore it, which, cool touch, having the female Venom pop up for a second.
Well, that's actually another design from one of the other symbiotes from the comics. I don't know which.
No, female Venom was a thing. Mary Jane acquired Spider-Man-esque powers by working with Venom at one point.
I'm going to take your word on it. I'm not that big of a Spider-Man fan.
That's no word.
So...
I always liked, what's her name? The cat chick.
Black Cat?
There we go.
Okay.
Bit of a misnomer there, because she had white hair and white fur.
Yeah, but she wore all black.
Except for the fur part.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, most of what I remember her was her cleavage.
That's what a lot of people remember her for. Anyway, we go from there, and it turns out that this other symbiote is alive out there and has been working its way to San Francisco to get to Riz Ahmed's company so that he can go back into space?
Yes. to recontact his people.
Yes.
And to bring them all here so they can devour the planet, which is what they normally do.
Yes. At which point, Venom has a change of heart.
No. He had it before then, off screen. Because that scene was obviously cut out.
Yes. He had a change of heart off screen that they then have to put in dialogue for the audience because they decided to cut the scene where Venom has a change of heart, where he's like, I don't want to eat people's brains here no more, Eddie. I think this is a pretty neat place.
I can't argue with this.
Because that is the dialogue.
It's not the dialogue.
That is almost verbatim.
It is not verbatim. What it is a
simplification?
No, well, it is a simplification, but there's another word for it. Paraphrasing.
All right, fine.
Paraphrasing.
I'll work. It is...
Sorry, I'm really hitting that P on that one. I apologize.
Yeah, I may have removed like 2 other words. And so...
it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally, maybe a 30-second dialogue.
Oh, it's less than that. It's maybe 3 sentences.
It's a... Oh, God, it might be.
It is literally...
I remember this movie so much better than it is.
It is Eddie Brock standing and goes, so what changed your mind?
You did, Eddie.
That's it.
That is not paraphrasing.
No, that is entirely it, and you never learn anything beyond that.
But I don't know. I think they for what they had in the movie, they used Venom, like his dialogue, his like the character of Venom. They used him just enough.
They used them the appropriate amount the makers of this movie thought was appropriate. It's not, and they should have done more with it.
They should have had him in the movie so much more.
Yes.
But for what they had it cut down to, and for what little they actually put him in there, I at least had a feeling of what the Venom character was to a point. Like, it's not a lot, but it's like, it's okay, cool, Venom's still there. He's he's quipping in here and there like he normally does.
Well, we go from there, and it turns out that Riza Med and Riot are now symbioted together, which apparently they didn't need combining time.
I was confused about that one too, because I figured, okay, now he's dead and the symbiote's just going to keep hopping from people to people, which would be an interesting thing. I mean, you have collateral damage.
And then that's when Riot tells him, is like, we need to go back to space to get more of my people to come here.
They seemed really pronounce their words, like both the symbiotes.
I'm presuming it's because they actually communicated telepathically, because the mouth never moved correctly with the things they were saying.
Didn't it?
No.
Really?
Oh, no. That's one of the things I really look for whenever a CG character speaks, is how well they time the mouth movements to the dialogue. Because that really, really irks me when they do it bad.
I'm surprised at that, because we've had the facial capture technology for that for a while.
Yeah, and this movie sucked at it. So that's when Riza Med decides, well, I'm going to launch this rocket in 5 minutes.
Also,
launch the rocket in 5 minutes, people that I've known for 20 years that I'm now going to kill.
In brutal fashion.
For no reason.
And it was Riot that did it, but we can assume
it's a combination of Riot and Riza Med.
I'm sure.
And apparently Riza Med listened to the symbiote, is like, we need to kill them and get on the shuttle. I was like, okie dokie, buddy. And so
I was confused on something.
Mm-hmm.
So Venom.
Just one thing?
So Venom talked about Riot as like, he's got shit you've never seen before.
Yeah. Which apparently is a spike ball hand.
It's a spike ball hand, a large sword, and a large axe.
Yeah.
That's really all
You've never seen that shit before!
My confusion was, why doesn't Venom have that? Like, is that a thing?
Because on his planet, he is a bit of a loser, too. I think I'm just going to answer that to people whenever they ask me things. On my planet, I am a bit of a loser, too.
So about that fight scene.
That was the worst fight scene I've seen in a long damn time. It's two giant, darkly lit characters in the night, made of goo, jumping into one another. There was one point where it's all happening, and I just leaned into you, and it's like, my vision's not bad. I don't know what's happening.
I was actually thinking that right before you said it.
And
because they're both liquid things, basically, and then there's the bodies in between.
Yes.
I thought it was a cool element that in that fight, they actually had the two humans that were actually swinging at each other as well, while the symbiotes were swinging all around.
It was an interesting visual.
It was an interesting visual when it slowed down enough that you could process it.
Yes, that one slow-mo shot where you get a brief glimpse into what's going on.
Like, caffeine, coked up, crazy CGI monkey person that they hired for it. Like, he just threw shit all over the screen.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry. It looked like he literally just monkey craps in his hands, flings it at a screen, and it's like, you know what, that's good. We're gonna make this move now.
Yeah,
because it's like it didn't.
You're not wrong.
It did not look bad because I couldn't see any of it.
That's the best qualifier for this movie. It didn't look awful because I couldn't see it.
Venom is black with shades of gray where the light hits him. The other guy is not black.
A darkish blue.
He's kind of darkish blue, red, maybe.
No, it's blue.
It's blue.
It's darkish blue.
And then he's got lighter shades of blue where the light hits him.
Yep.
And they've got them moving really quickly, like you said, in the dark. There's there's light that hits in there a little bit, but it's like there was too much motion. There was too much high detail that was happening by these liquid parts flying apart and coming together and stuff. It's like I got really lost in there.
Yeah.
And it was maybe 10 seconds worth of that.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a long scene, but in that amount of time, I was like, all right, I am all over the goddamn screen right now, and I can't find anything that's defined. And then it stops. I was like, oh, there's Eddie, so that's Venom. There's that guy, so there's that guy.
Yeah.
And then we're gone again, and we're going.
And it's just right back to the whirlwind fight. I've been able to keep track of Looney Tunes fights, where they go into that little whirlwind dervish, and you see the fists flying out and everything. I've been able to keep track of those fights better than this thing.
Jeez.
And we finally get to the end, and Riot gets on the spaceship that shouldn't have been able to get to in 5 minutes.
I question how close that rocket ship was to the station.
Like, if he was able to get to it in 5 minutes, that means it had to have been a less than 5 minute walk to the ship, up an elevator or stairs.
No, it would have been... It was the fact that he was symbioted.
Even still, that is more than 5 minutes worth of journey.
Probably.
There's no probably to it. That thing was easily a 30-minute walk.
Are you counting for stairs and elevators? And
no, I'm just talking if you started...
Like, as the crow flies.
As the crow flies, that is a 30-minute walk.
That means straight, by the way.
And... yeah, I'm just like, all right, fine, fuck it, whatever. So they finally...
like, we're going to worry about over-the-top shit, that bike ride.
Well, that's all in the trailer. That's all in the trailer, so there's nothing to discuss about.
The air on that, and then we get BMX Venom.
Yeah, sure, why not? So they do the whole thing where they seriously make you think that Venom and Eddie Brock are gonna die in their first movie because Riot stabs him through the chest after they get separated, and it was just like, well, okay. Yeah, you're really going to kill Eddie Brock, and by proxy, Venom. I totally believe you, movie. Oh, look, Venom's back. And he now somehow bonds to Eddie Brock's almost dead corpse.
I mean, you've got a window of time before he's dead, even if you stab him through the heart.
But we've already established that these things eat up your internal organs really fast when you are a healthy individual.
They have the option to. I think at the end of the movie, they established, like, oh, well, if you don't eat, then your liver looks mighty tasty.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in just a minute.
Oh, boy.
But he gets back up, and he lunges up to the top of the ship, and he's like, goodbye, Riot. I am going to blow you up now.
It cuts the fuselage.
He jumps down and cuts the fuselage as he's going up and explodes the ship with Risa, Med, and Riot.
Yeah.
At which point, they try and do the same thing again, but with Venom, where he turns into a parachute.
He did an Elastigirl.
He pulled an Elastigirl from The Incredibles 1. And they plummet down to the water. He's like, goodbye, Eddie. I'm going to sacrifice myself so that you don't die in this. But we both know that I'm not going to actually do that.
I was a little confused at that.
Well, the only reason I say the ending sort of works is because when Eddie Brock falls 30 feet on his back into the water, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, yeah, let's pretend he doesn't have massive spinal injury from that.
Not from 30 foot. He'd be fine.
Straight on his back.
Yep.
I don't know.
He would be sore as fuck, sore muscles. Maybe some strain, but it.
No, it was more than 30 feet. No.
Because he got him way down there.
No, it
was 30 a non-lethal fall.
30 feet minimum. I would probably actually estimate that as closer to 70.
Even still, it turns out that
Venom's still there. Oh, shock and surprise! They didn't kill their marketable hero.
I like that they set it up like he was gone, and then he chimes in his head, and it kind of throws him off a little bit. It's not like you didn't see it coming, but it's like, all right, cool,
At least we didn't have to look at any more butt ugly CGI for about 45 more seconds.
The floating head thing wasn't that bad.
I wasn't talking about the floating head thing. I'm talking about the end scene that they show in the trailer. The turd in the wind scene. Which is still the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
I liked it.
You would, wouldn't you?
I would. So, please, reenact the turd in the wind line.
So, Mrs. Chang, nice lady, gets held up again. Same guy. Eddie establishes with Venom that he's like, maybe I'll let you eat some bad guys. People that I establish as bad. And we'll go by my own moral superiority code.
It wasn't that.
It's implied.
It was not. It was like, well, how do you know bad people? It's like, well, you get a feeling from them. It's like, you'll figure it out. You learn. You watch people.
Again.
And the guy comes in. It's like, oh, you got my money. And then you hear, bad person? Yep. Cool. But the part that confused me is he didn't go straight for the head chomp, which was established.
Right.
It's like he comes up.
I saw something about this. There's a chemical produced in the brain that Venom people need to survive. They wrote in the comics. Really? And that's how they justify him eating people's brains.
Interesting.
I call it lazy justification for a really stupid plot convenience, but whatever.
He walks up to the guy.
He comes up to the guy and he delivers the whole, if we ever see you back here, we will eat your arms and then your legs and then your face and you will be this armless, legless, faceless thing rolling down the street. Like a turd in the wind. No, like a turd in the wind.
You can't tell me that's one of the most amazingly over-the-top lines.
It's so stupid.
It's awesomely stupid.
No, it's not. It's just
dumb.
dumb.
It's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger moment in Commando. Don't wake my friend. He's dead tired. Kills the guy on the airplane, puts the hat over his head like he's taking a nap.
You're going to compare Commando to Venom?
It's the most amazing camp ever.
No, it's
like bad guy on the fighter.
It's just dumb because they don't follow through. They're just like, on second thought, I think I'll just eat him. Rah, 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 rah. No. Yeah, and then
he's Cookie Monster.
And then this nice old lady is staring at him like,
what the fuck, Eddie?
Yeah, he's like, sorry, Miss Chen, I have a parasite. Good night.
See, that would have been a good finisher, but they used it already. They used that line already in the movie, and it ruined that delivery. That line would have been awesome as the finisher for it.
It's supposed to be a callback. How he had a parasite earlier, and when he was sick, and now he's got a parasite that makes him eat people. You see, it blends together. It weaves seamlessly.
It absolutely does not. But I do enjoy the fact that Venom and him are having a banter after the fact. Apologize, I'm not a parasite. I was like, it's okay, it's kind of cute. It's dumb, but it's cute.
Oh, God.
It was enjoyably campy.
That was Venom. It sucked.
It was not sucky. It was awesome.
And I laughed
wonderfully
so
awesome.
fucking hard. I did not laugh nearly as hard in any part of the movie as I did in the post-credit scene, though.
Which one?
The one where he goes to meet Cletus Cassidy. Or, as I like to call him,
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson in a really shitty Ronald McDonald wig. Oh my God!
Of all the ways they could have done that.
I'm so glad we were the only people in the theater because I started laughing so hard.
You were not laughing. You were cackling.
You
were openly cackling like a madman.
It's because it was so fucking funny.
Like, to put this in perspective, you ever seen those moments in comedies where someone's laughing and then they start coughing and hacking?
That's because I've had sinus drainage.
Bullshit.
No,
You became the dude from every comedy scene.
No, I've had sinus drainage for the last couple of weeks.
I don't care what your excuse is. You became that guy.
I'm sorry, but I literally could not help myself. I saw this thing, and it's as
bad as our POTUS's hair was.
Was?
It's not as bad as it used to be. Like, it's still over the top, don't get me wrong. His hair's...
Over the top is not a good...
His hair is still a thing to itself.
Shitty is what it looks like.
It used to be way worse.
It looks like a bad wig.
That's exactly what it looks like. Not
and
the POTUS's hair right now. Like,
yes,
Cletus Cassidy's hair. Like, that probably... I don't know.
Both
whatever.
are bad wigs.
That's besides the point.
Anyway, Cletus Cassidy's is this dark
like
red... You know those really shitty afros you get? Like a clown afro from Party America, where it has the Jerry curls and everything.
Yeah.
That is what it looked like, just dipped in a red dye and slapped on top of his head.
I'm not sure if that's not what they did.
I'm not sure either. But apparently he's coming to interview Cletus Cassidy in prison, who sets up his own movie sequel.
There'll be carnage.
Because when I get out, there's going to be carnage.
That's way overdone. Come on, man.
You get it? Because that's my character's name in the books.
You gotta put the right accent on it, though. It's Woody Harrelson. Respect the man.
And I couldn't help myself. Like, I honestly...
I wish they would have done more with that scene.
No!
It was an okay setup.
No!
I'm not saying, like, how it extended, but, like, it was an okay
No,
setup.
don't do anything more with that scene. Don't have that scene.
No, you could still have the scene, but don't give him the hair. Like, that hair. Like, if they got rid of that hair, and it was just, like, a buzzed Woody Harrelson, and it's just, like...
But how would the fans have known it was Cletus Cassidy?
Well, you would have said it. You could have... Like, what I'm picturing...
But how would the fans have known by seeing him that it was Cletus Cassidy?
You're taking so much from Red Letter Media's guy right now. The point is, I'm saying instead like skip talking with the security guard on the way to the prison. Just have him sitting down with the multi-crossed prison bar thing in front of him. It's Woody Harrelson and it's Eddie Brock because I didn't feel like saying Cletus Cassidy again. And it's just them talking back and forth about this, that, and the other. You're doing the interview,
right?
And then you end with that line that says, "When I get out, and I will, there's going to be carnage," and then leave. And you can have, like,
the problem with that is that Carnage has to come from Venom.
Does he?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I thought Carnage was a symbiote unto himself.
He is, but he comes from Venom.
I need to read up on this a little bit, then.
Yeah, it's...
The point is, though...
Fucking insane.
It would have saved a little bit more time. It would have been a better setup, I think.
You know what would have been a way better...
It would have had that goddamn hair.
You know what would have been a better scene? Not having that.
I think,
or having Venom's end theme, where the entire breakdown is, "My name is Venom, I'm gonna hit him."
No.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing this, man.
We're not.
You're not gonna start a beef with Eminem because that's not gonna end well for anybody.
No, I'm not gonna shit on Eminem. I love that guy's music a lot, especially a lot of his earlier stuff.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Listen to some of his newer stuff, like even the Venom one. Even though it's attached to this film and you might not like it. That piece by itself is actually enjoyable to listen to.
We will.
Pretty decent.
I'll
make you listen to it later.
I sure you will.
But yeah, no. Having it as the focal point for the end of that film was not necessarily jarring. It's just their pop rap influence into this, like with the opening scene, with some of the in between bits, and then with the ending theme to it as well. And I guess because it's San Francisco, it's city life, that's where that influence is supposed to tie in at.
It would have worked better if it were New York, if that were the case.
That's what I was thinking.
But
I mean, here we are.
It's cheaper to shoot in Canada, which looks like San Francisco.
Wait, what? You're kidding.
No. 90% of your movies that are based in the San Francisco area are actually shot in Canada.
What?
Yeah.
Why not just shoot them in San Francisco?
Because it's expensive.
What do you mean?
San Francisco is an expensive town. You have to have a lot of permits to like shut down streets to do scenes and stuff. It's just way simpler and easier to actually shoot in Canada. If they didn't shoot in Canada, I'll be genuinely surprised.
So what, you're just guessing on this?
I would assume. Because nothing in this movie looks like it has really high production quality polish. And so I'm guessing because this
Why do you say that? Like the pyrometrics. Wait, no. Word. Help me. I'm tired.
No, yeah, the pyrometrics.
It's not pyrometrics, I know it. Shut up.
Those are the European fireworks.
Nothing.
Anyway, Venom sucks.
It doesn't suck.
Venom sucks.
Awesome. Go
Venom,
and see it.
Venom sucks. Save yourself $9 and rent this on Redbox. You'll be infinitely happier if you do that.
If you got a cheap theater to go to and you get popcorn and drinks.
If you can get a matinee, I would say if you can get a matinee, $5, see it like that in theater.
Yep. Do we want to talk about Lady Venom and all 15 seconds of that?
There's no point. They don't discuss it in the movie either. So why should we discuss it here?
That's fair. What about why the scientist guy had nothing but tackling explosion drones from every video game ever?
Well, because that's what you have when you're evil scientist number 4853.
Who wants to capture the symbiote?
That's your goal is 4853. You capture the symbiote.
Well, good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, leave a message or a like and a subscribe, and we will try and make more. Who knows?
If you didn't like this, share with other people that you think will hate it too. We'll take that.
Well, I'll take it since I'm going to be the one doing these for foreseeable future. You're going to leave.
Joining in.
We'll see you next time, everybody. Laters.